What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the Sick Podcast Rams Recap. You know it's your boy LQ, Mr. Real Deal Fantasy. And listen, it is Monday, week 16. The Rams got the Jets this week, but I am a little bit happier because we are the current 4th seed. And those Seahawks, like I said, they're sus and they lost, but we got a lot to cover today. Sammy, hit the intro.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Rams Recap with LaQuan Jones.
They rush forward. Throw to Burford. He's hit. He's hit. He's sacked. He throws it away. He flings it away on 4th down. Aaron Donald got there, and you can build that man's statue out SoFi Stadium right now. The greatest of all time on defense. Does it in the biggest moment of Super Bowl 56.
The sickest Los Angeles Rams podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Let's go. Good victory weekend, I should say, for your boy for his birthday. I mean, look, Man United, they ended up winning Derby Day. Shout out to them. And obviously the Rams handling business on Thursday Night Football. Now we're here until week 16. We are currently the 4th seed, people. We are in the playoff bracket right now, and I like to stay there. Those Seahawks, like I said before, 2 pods ago, 3 pods ago, all year I just been saying they are not who you think they are. They are sus. They're not a team that can go out there and light it up every single week. There's constant ups and downs, and you see with Geno Smith dealing with injury, but before the injury, they were still trash. They still were not able to go out there and produce a offense that can put up points against the Packers. 3 points. That's all they had before Geno went out. Now they have Sam Howell. I don't know how the injury is going to be with Geno Smith with the knee injury, but Sam Howell, he's not going to be doing them any better either. I mean, he managed to get sacked 4 times in the limited time that he played, which was top 5 most sacked quarterbacks at the current time of recording this. I mean, look, we still got Monday night doubleheader, but I'm pretty sure Sam Howell will be up there in the most sacks. I mean, we already know last season how many times he went down with the Commanders. So, yeah, that's the course that the Seahawks are going on, down, while the Rams are trending up. I mean, the 49ers, they completely lost all confidence. Their season is over. Chalk it up. They had a disaster season. Goodbye. Now we just need to handle business this week against the Jets, and then the Cardinals, and then we finish up with the Seahawks. But the Cardinals, I want to touch on them real quick. I am not fearful of them whatsoever. Kyler Murray does not scare me. I mean, everybody likes to point to what they did to us early in the season, but injuries, ladies and gentlemen, injuries. And also, McVay doesn't play his players in the preseason like that. So when I look at the first 3 to 4 games of the regular season, I look at that as preseason. Those are preseason games. They're still figuring out the kinks. We're dealing with injuries. So, of course, they're going to want to go out there and try to remember what they did to us earlier in the season. But when that game comes up, you know I'm going to be on this mic and I'm going to be talking my trash, getting hot. But week 16, people need to handle business. This is a serious game. I honestly think that people, like some of the Rams fans out there in the Twitter streets, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're at, they're looking at this Jets game, and they're looking at it like, oh, yeah, chalk it up as a W. This is a dangerous game. This game still has a Garrett Wilson, the Devontae Adams, a Breece Hall, Aaron Rodgers. These are still entities that are still out there that can go out there and put up some points. Now, I'm not going to give them all the credit that they had last week going against the Jags, doing what they did, and then Devontae Adams exploding in fantasy, 42 fantasy points. That is insane for Devontae Adams to still be doing these things. But this is perfect example that, Devontae Adams can still go out there and do Devontae Adams things, the incredible catches on the sideline. These are moments that we, as a secondary, the Rams, need to just cut out. Get that out of the way. Contain Devontae Adams. That is job number 1. Contain him. Don't let him get loose. Don't let him be the most dominant player on the field. This is where our secondary is going to have to become very disciplined and take away some of the things that we learned in these last couple of weeks with these entities of having these big playmakers. I mean, look, Josh Allen didn't have a bunch of playmakers on the perimeter. I mean, Amari Cooper, he's not a threat. We saw what he did last week. Nothing. Matt Collins, Khalil Shakir, but when we look at actual threats, actual big-time threats, this game scares me on the perimeter. I mean, we handled duos before, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. We did lose that game, but we contained them to, human numbers. So we could have won that game if we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot, and our O-line still dealing with injuries as well, where you had Chop Robinson and that Miami defense. They were just being very creative in the trenches and getting pressure after Matthew Stafford. But honestly, take away some of the lessons that we've learned in some of these wins and losses on the defensive front when it comes to our secondary and the linebackers. And I want to touch on Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson as a whole here. This is where our linebackers are going to have to step up in coverage. Christian Roseman, he has been doing a great job these last couple of games. I go back to that Miami game, how he got that interception when he just clogged up the middle and played the zone. We play heavy zone, 73% in the league. So we're going to be playing a lot of zone against this offense with Davante Adams, Garrett Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers. This is where we're going to have to step up on the linebacker front to stop the run, to clog up the middle, be great, and be aware of what they're going to be trying to throw at us. I mean, Garrett Wilson in the same most dangerous player out there, man. That's going to be one of those areas where our safeties are going to have to be mindful of where he's at all times. I understand Davante Adams is over there going crazy. I understand that's an assignment as well, to just kind of bottle him up and have him have a human game. But I definitely want to get Garrett Wilson under wraps. He is frustrated. If you watched last game, he's on the sideline arguing with his coach like, hey, if I got one-on-one, throw the fade. Like, he is getting frustrated, and we need to keep him in his mind. Same way that we kept Debo in his mind, because Debo, he could have caught that pass over the middle Thursday Night Football. If you go back, that one ball, I know everybody's watching this and they understand that could have been game changing. We could have lost that game if Debo caught that ball. But let's remember, he was in his head that entire time leading up to that game because of the antics on Twitter and et cetera, et cetera. We need to tap into Garrett Wilson's emotions. We need to get him frustrated early. We need to take him out of the game. We need to get him to the point where he's on the sideline, throwing his helmet, getting mad at Rodgers because he's not getting the looks. He's not getting the ball. Hey, like I said, you need to contain Davante Adams, but if we bottle up a frustrated Garrett Wilson, I think this is an area where we can take over the game and momentum, because our defense has just been playing at a high level each and every week in certain areas. If it's our linebackers stepping up in the run game, if it's our secondary taking away the ball or taking certain elements out of the game, this is where we need to come together, like I said, and look at our past games and bring it all together for this game, because this is probably going to be the biggest threat as a duo that we had on the perimeter. I look back at that Bears game, like we kept Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, we kept into human numbers, but we still lost that game because DeAndre Swift decided to lead the team in receiving yards and go crazy. But I just feel as though we have elements of this game that we need to just take away from the Jets, take the air out of them. And look, it's going to be very important that we get pressure on Aaron Rodgers as well. We look back to the last game against the Jags, 16% of his dropbacks he was only pressured on. This is not what's going to get the job. We are a way better pass rush defense than the Jaguars. He was way too comfortable last week, so that's why I think he was able to really go out there and be the Aaron Rodgers that we know. I mean, look, he had a great fantasy day as well. So we need to go out there, make him uncomfortable, contain him in the pocket, and just be aware that even though Aaron Rodgers is 50 years old with an Achilles tear that he's recovering from, he's still able to go sideline to sideline, up and down, like north, south, whatever, east, west. He could still get out of that pocket and extend the play. He could still go out there and get the first downs. This is where Omar Speights is going to be coming in. I think this is going to be an area where he's going to be that spy. He's going to be looking for the Breece Hall in the flat, or Isaiah Davis, Braylon Lau, whoever it is. He's going to be that guy. Christian Roseman, I expect him to be the coverage type of linebacker, just clogging up that middle of the field like how he did with the Dolphins game. And honestly, these are things that I'm seeing. I know the coaching staff. I know Chris Shula and Sean McVay are going to draw up a most beautiful plan. They're going to be prepping for this game, I promise you, as if this is a playoff game, as if, this is Aaron Rodgers and they're looking at 11 wins right now. This is not, something that we need to sleep on. As Rams fan, I understand that we want to be vocal. We need to be, collective on Sundays. Like, we need to really lock in this week so we can secure this playoff run. So there is very, very, very important keys of victory here. Contain Aaron Rodgers in that pocket. Do not let him get loose. Contain Breece Hall. And I want to talk on the run game as well. You can run on us. And Breece Hall is recovering back from injury, but there's still some pep in that step in that backfield where you have Brandon Allen, where you have Isaiah Davis. He's able to contribute in the passing game, and this is where we need to not get caught up in that run game. We need to constantly just take it out of the way, take it away from their game. And honestly, we allow that 7th most rushing yards in second half of games. So we don't need to get, all focused on Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams to forget about that run game, because I think they could still produce on the ground, which will keep these drives alive, will keep them in striking distance, will create scoring opportunities for this Jets offense, where clearly last week against the Jags, they were able to still go out there and put up big points. So it's very important for us on the offense. And now we're going to switch balls. We're going to the offense for the Rams. I honestly think I'm not worried about this offense. I think against San Francisco, division game, the weather, Matthew Stafford being very, out of the ordinary. Some of those throws that he was putting out there, it looked like his eyes were closed. Like some of the balls, like the one that Demarcus Robinson was like a little weird because it was like out of place. And I know Demarcus Robinson makes that catch if it was a little bit more accurate. And then some of the balls where he kind of just was overthrowing them and looking. Cooper Kupp was open on one of those things, but I understand that was a hard night for him to separate. But it's going to be a hard night against Sauce Gardner. It's going to be a hard night against that secondary that the Jets have, because they could still take the ball away. Now that deep ball, we saw last week Mac Jones take those chances. I'm going to chalk it up to that's Mac Jones. And, of course, that interception happens by Sauce Gardner. But at the end of the day, Matthew Stafford's not coming off one of his best decision-making games. So hopefully we can get this locked in and treat this Jets defense how we treated the Buffalo Bills and just go out there and just light it up. Get the third downs converted. That is key to victory every single week. We need to convert on third down. I think that's a lot of the games in the past that we lost. We're just like, man, why can't we convert on third down? 3 for 12 against that Dolphins game. I keep bringing that game up because that's a game that we could have won. That's a game where our defense was collectively standing up. They were getting pressure, but our offense, man, just dealing with so many injuries and so many just miscommunicated plays and just miscues, et cetera, et cetera. We cannot have that this game. This is a Jets team that are still fighting for something. It's pride. So we need to execute on offense in the red zone on third down, and Sean McVay continue on running the ball. Do not fade the run. This is the formula for us to win. And Kyren Williams has been doing great ever since you just kept feeding him breaking records, setting records. That's what we need to keep going. And you know what? I'm going to say it again. Blake Corum, it's a must that he keeps getting sprinkled in to keep Kyren Williams fresh, to keep the defenses guessing. And honestly, you want to see what you have in Blake Corum. I mean, honestly, I've been impressed these last 3 weeks when he's gotten the opportunity. He's flashed in plenty of moments. And even when the ball is not in his hand, you look at him stepping up in the pass blocking areas on third down when he's gotten the opportunity. You look at this and you look and feel good about Blake Corum behind Kyren Williams. God forbid, knock on wood, my desk is wood, so I'm knocking on it now, that he doesn't get hurt. But if he does end up getting banged up on this playoff run, if he ends up, getting hurt in one of these games, you have Blake Corum that could just pick the ball up and we keep rolling. So Sean McVay, key to victory, keep running the ball. I feel like he's a friend of the show, because I honestly think every single week I come on this mic and I say, yo, the Rams fans, the community, they want this. And we get that. So I absolutely love that we're moving forward with the ball, that we're not avoiding the run, that we're constantly trying to improve on third down and red zone. And I think we could do that against this Jets team. I honestly think, like I said, this could be a huge victory for us to where we can skate. I'm not worried about our division opponents because we see them twice a year. Every year we see them all the time. We know what they're about. The Cardinals, not real. The Seahawks, they're sus on the downward spiral. See, the 49ers or the 40-winers, they're to bed. They're going to be watching football on that couch that we went in last week. Like I said, wet shoes and all. Right on your couch in your house. I mean, a lot of 49ers fans hated that clip last week, but I absolutely love it. Love it. Love it. But the Rams community, they got my back and they support every time they tune into this channel. But again, very important week this week. I think we can get it done, man. I honestly think all it comes down to is those key elements that I hit on earlier in this video. I don't want to waste too much time because I'm ready. I'm ready for this week to hurry up so we can get this Jets game behind us with a W. We go on, face our division opponents, and we clean up the rest of the season. And then we handle business in those playoffs, because I honestly think we're going to be saying, ring me again very soon. Run it back. And Sean McVay, clear as day, the best coach in the NFL. So in McVay, we trust, Rams Nation. In McVay, we trust to go out there and make the right decisions this week, to have the keys to victory, to stay the same, to stay consistent. And defense, a large task of containing Garrett Wilson, containing Devontae Adams, Breece Hall as well, even though he's banged up, and of course, Aaron Rodgers. Don't let these dudes get hot. Don't let them gain any momentum off of that win they got with the Jags. Like, come on, it's the Jags. Come on, stop. But like I said, we need to shut it down early, shut it down, get the right decisions made on defense where we have our linebackers in coverage, getting pressure on Aaron Rodgers, being disruptive, get the takeaways, et cetera, et cetera. That's all I got for you guys for this episode. And please make sure you guys like, subscribe to the channel. Let's run it up. Let's get these subscriptions up. And I do appreciate those who jump in the comments and share their comments on the episode. And sometimes you guys aren't fans of the Rams, and I'm curious to how you even find this page. But it is what it is. It's fine. I appreciate all feedback, even if it's good or bad. But make sure you're tuned in every single week. Hit that bell for me to come on here to talk about my Rams. Win, lose, draw, don't matter. But mostly, we're in a victory formation every single week for the rest of the season. So I'll see you guys Friday for another great episode of previewing the Jets game. And I might have a guest coming on this week. I know I've said that last week, but people's schedules are getting a little wonky and it's holiday season. So enjoy yourself and enjoy this episode. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Rams Recap with LaQuan Jones on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.